If you are thinking about selling, then you'll want to continue watching this video. I'm going to talk about 2 big mistakes that sellers make when pricing their properties. I'm Jacqueline Smith with Evergreen Real Estate Partners. All right, so let's jump in. So the first big mistake I see sellers make is they want to price their home too high right out of the gate, thinking, what's the harm? I can just adjust my price later. What happens though is if you aren't adjusting quickly enough, you end up chasing the market down and you lose a lot of your negotiating power. And what happens in those instances is you usually end up netting less on your sale than if you would have went in from the get-go at a more competitive price. So if you're really adamant about testing the market, I would definitely encourage you to talk to your agent and make sure you have a strategy to analyze the data and the feedback very early on so you can make adjustments quickly. Days on market are not your friend, they are public. And so you want to make sure that you don't end up going stale in a buyer's eyes. Listings are not like wine where they get better with age. They're like bread and they go stale, and you don't want to be stale. Remember, buyers are smart, and if your home is sitting too long, they're going to start wondering either what's wrong with it, or they'll start thinking, we can get a deal on this one. None of those are good for you. So make sure that you talk through strategy and come up with a smart pricing plan with your agent so that you don't end up chasing the market down and taking longer and getting a lower price than you could have if you went in more aggressively. Okay, the second is pricing just above a pricing bracket. So let me explain what I mean. Most people right now, they search for properties online, and many people have saved searches in whatever their preferred portal is, right? So if they're working with an agent, they'll tell us, my absolute max is 600 or 500, right? And they'll tell us the criteria, and we're putting in a search. And not everyone will want to look above what they can spend. So if you are pricing your property, let's say at 605 or 610, and you're actually willing to take 600, you have to remember that buyers that have searches saved and they're looking online up to 600, they won't even see that your listing is on the market. So that's a problem, because the way that you net the most amount of money is by exposing your property to the most amount of buyers. And if you're cutting off a large percentage of your buyer pool that is looking up to 600, they won't see that you're on there, right? Less exposure means less money in your pocket, and we don't want that. So you'd be better off pricing right at 600 so that you're not cutting off any part of your buyer exposure than going just above a price bracket. If you are thinking about selling at all in the next year or two, I'd love to sit down with you and show you our pricing strategies and choose a plan that you're most comfortable with, and so that you understand the pros and cons and the pitfalls that can come up with different strategies, and you can choose the one that's best for you. Again, I'm Jacqueline Smith with Evergreen Real Estate Partners, and if you have any real estate related questions, I'd love to be a resource for you. Just respond to this email and I'll have either myself or one of our amazing agents reach out to help. Thanks so much for tuning into my videos. Until next time.